Hi, today we are going to look at how we can export or fetch data from SQL Server tables into an Excel sheet. Now, this is especially useful for business users who need to look at data constantly and make decisions based on it, and cannot really always wait for an IT person to write a query for them or build a database or a business intelligence solution that's available to them. In these cases, if the business user has a login that has read permissions on the tables, they would themselves be able to query the underlying tables and make the right decisions without really depending on the IT team. As you can see in Microsoft SQL Server, we have a database and the database is exposed via a login. And in Excel, you have an option called data, and under data, you have connections that you can establish with different types of adapters. So you got SQL Server, analysis services, and then you got CSV and Access, etc. In our case, we're going to select a SQL Server database. So we're going to select from SQL Server and then enter the server name. I'm using Windows authentication, so that's selected already. I press next. And in my case, I'm using the AdventureWorks database. If I scroll down, I should find something that says product, which is going to list all the products that AdventureWorks company sells. So I select product, press next. Here I see the information regarding the connection that I've just created. Press finish. And again, I've already done this before, so it's asking me whether I want to redo it, and I say yes. I select the first cell here, press OK. And as you can see, it's actually fetched all the data from the underlying product table in the AdventureWorks database. Now, since this is in Excel, it makes it much more easier for the user to be able to query and play around with the data. For example, I can always just go ahead now, select a filter and select make flag is equal to false to identify all products with a make flag false. This is much more easier for the end user or the business user rather than having to write a SQL query. As you can see, it's much more intuitive and it's easy to play around with and does not really impact the underlying database engine. Again, you need to be careful when you expose such tables to business users, especially if the table contains a large amount of data, as it can cause a severe I/O bottleneck and memory pressure on the database engine because one user has not probably used the right filters. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and as you can see, you can now use Excel to connect to the database engine.